All right, so Moises, I just want you to give just a brief background, not too long so we can get directly into the training, but a brief background on how you got into the business and how long you've been with us. And then we'll get into some interviews about your in-home.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I think I've been with Family First Life. I think I just hit the 90-day mark. So pretty new. Came over from the car business. And then I found FFL miraculously on YouTube. Found a video with Jordan and Gage and Zach Tverdowski training. And I DM'd Gage and I told him I was going to pass my exam and I was going to hit him up. And I did. So here I am.
Love it. Yeah, so you had a background in what, car sales?
Yeah.
Car sales. So this is huge, guys. I love that you shared that, Moises, because if any of you want to go out and do a podcast with Andrew, he's wanting to push out a ton of content. And as you can see, we found a huge killer on our team from Gage going out there and getting uncomfortable, getting on a podcast. Yeah, I understand it's uncomfortable. No one wants to do it. It's, getting interviewed and being on YouTube is not comfortable, but it's worth it when you find people that are watching your videos, following you on Instagram and saying, you know what, I think I can do this too. And it reaches people nationwide, which is awesome. Okay, so we are going to get into a little bit of your in-home because submitting 18K in your first 90 days is insane. So I want to know a little bit about how you're structuring that, and then we'll go into kind of how you're structuring your schedule with travel trips. But we could do a little bit of a role play of how you're setting the table. So we got in the home, you took us to the table, we're sitting down, and then just kind of break down how you're doing your initial appointment setup.
Yeah, biggest thing that I've been getting better at too along the way. I've kind of learned this the hard way, right? But you have to make sure the husband and the wife are there. If it's just the husband, it's gonna like be a no sell, straight up. Like it's gonna be super hard to use that. So I learned that kind of the hard way, like the first couple of days I was out there. And then basically just ask, why they filled it out. And take some time, instead of just going straight into the inventory sheet, just sit there and talk to them before you even pull that out. That's what I've been doing. It's working for me at least.
Yeah.
And just kind of have like a regular conversation, hey guys, who filled this out. Okay. And then figure out like who's working, who's not. Obviously if the husband is just the one working and if she's a stay-at-home wife, then you obviously found the real reason, right? Like she doesn't work.
Yep.
You ask him like, hey, what's it look like if your husband doesn't come home? And she's just kind of like, well, I'm pretty much screwed because he's the one that, makes all the money. So I basically try to find that. Seattle is a little different, right? A little different clientele than what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned, I've been adapting to them. By the fifth day, I was able to like really set the table real good, setting up like an accidental policy just to cover, those big mortgages over there, because every mortgage over there was like $6-7 million and stuff and beyond. So
absolutely. You brought up a huge point. Just want to touch base on that. With a lot of mortgage appointments, or actually any appointment, if it's husband and wife, I love that you brought that up, the income gap. So a lot of times the couple is going to think, oh, well, I want just as much coverage as my husband. And just the other day I sat with a husband and wife, and the wife was like, well, I want to cover it too. And I was like, I completely understand you do need some, but we don't need as much as we need on him. So when we're looking at your guys' budget here, you guys have about $200 that we can afford. We need to primarily focus on your husband, because if he passes, you're going to be out $5,000 in income. If you pass, he's going to be out $1,500. So there's a big income gap. You got to make sure that we primarily put the budget on him. So that was a good point. Sorry, Sky's barking.
But yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing, is kind of spending a little bit more time before getting into the financial inventory. Before I was kind of rushing and just wanting straight to get to the inventory without having a combo with them, and that wasn't working out. I was like getting nowhere. So that's what really worked for me this weekend. Another thing too that I challenge you guys, so that was my third travel trip, and my third one. This is my second time going to Seattle. The first time I was only there for 3 or 4 days. It was hard to kind of get used to everything, right? Kind of get used to like the rhythm over there. This time around, I challenged myself to just stay there like a week, like a full week, just to like fully put my head down, work Sunday, work Monday, like work all the way through, just trying to run as many appointments as I could. And obviously it was worth it. I ended up learning a lot, and I ended up submitting a lot of applications because I didn't like limit myself to 3 or 4 days. So what happens when you go to, at least what happened to me when I went to that travel trip, I didn't have any distractions. Like I noticed a pattern. The last 3 days I was there, I was getting back at the hotel like around 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then one time I almost came home at 11. And all of those late night deals were like my biggest policies. So like the last day I was there, I think I did a $4,000 AP on this $1 million home, and it was just like I almost didn't go because I was like 2 hours late to the appointment. I was like, damn, it's gonna be so late. And it's like 9:45 when I knocked on the door. I was like, dude, they're gonna be sleeping. And I showed up, and it was like the biggest policy I had all week. And I was like, wow, always go to your last appointment, even if you're 2 hours
Always.
late and it's 10 o'clock. So that's another thing I learned out there too, which was pretty awesome. Really helped me finish out my week, pretty strong.
Absolutely. So you were there, you said 7 days total?
Yeah, I left.
You
I
ran
got
every day?
there. Yeah, I had
So
like at least 2 appointments in the evening. If like on Sunday I ran all day, and then Monday I had 3 appointments in the evening, and then every other day. But yeah.
awesome. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I know a lot of people have texted me about wanting to go on travel trips and like how should they prepare and how many leads should they buy, things like that. So when you left your apartment, did you already, or your home, did you already have appointments booked, or how many appointments did you already have booked?
Yeah, so
If
I
you
had
did.
appointments. So I dialed all day Thursday, and I left like 6 p.m. I caught my flight. I think I left at 8 p.m. So I left my house at 6, but I already had like 5 appointments for Friday, and I didn't book anything. I left like Friday morning open just so I can crank out more appointments, right? And I already had
Right.
some for Friday. So I had 5 Friday, I had like 6 on Saturday, and like 2 on Sunday, and I ended up like using that Friday morning to fill up everything else all day Sunday, and then the last few I needed for Saturday.
And did you book your flight, like, did you book a round trip when you originally did it? Or were you like, I'm booking a one way and then I'm just hammering it out and then I'm gonna book the one way home?
I kind of planned it. It was it was not a one way. It was like a round trip. So I knew I wanted to come back like Thursday morning, So I caught like the earliest flight, like at 7 a.m. and I was back in Chico, ready to dial and kind of get my weekend ready.
Yeah, that's one of the tips that I learned from Nina and Hayden, was they book a one way. So then they're not like, oh no, I only have one day left and I didn't make enough, that they're freaking out about not making enough from their trip. So they book a one way. And with the flights nowadays, like you can book a flight, the day before and you can get a pretty good price. So book a one way until you hit your goal and then book the one way back, because then you aren't stressed about now I'm leaving and I haven't hit my goal. Okay, so how many leads were you working on the full week that you were there?
The full week I was there, I think it was about some older mailers and then some new ones. There was like 60 new ones and then about 40 older ones. And all
So
I
about
did was
100
mortgage.
leads.
About 100 for the week.
Cool. All right, well, let's do the role play, because I know you briefly discussed what you're doing in the in-home, but let's kind of do a little bit of a role play. So we're sitting at the
Okay.
table. You said you get their why at the beginning. Now, let's say I don't know my why. How would you overcome that in the very beginning? Let's say I'm like, well, I don't really know why. You just kept standing in these forms and I just filled it out because I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah, so I typically just I kind of try to put the correct answers in their mouth, basically. So I was like, all right, well, typically when people fill these guys out, they either want make sure that when they pass away, there's payments to be made to the mortgage, the house is paid off, or they were just making sure that God forbid they became sick or disabled, that their payments were still going to be made. Out of those three, which one did you interest you? Which one of those was most important to you? And they usually pick one, right? Because you gave them 3 options. And they're like, oh, this one. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I definitely would be interested in, getting payments if I were to get sick. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, okay, great. And then I look at both, to kind of make sure they're on the same page. And I try to get like at least like a verbal like one of these, and then it's like it works. They're kind of looking at you, they're engaged. And I usually proceed, and then I kind of go over. I tell them I'm going to spend a couple minutes on some financial questions, a couple minutes on some medical questions, and at the end I'm going to make a suggestion, and then we're going to submit an application. And then I usually do this. I just kind of nod. So and if they nod back, then I'm kind of getting like another a commitment, to do an application. So then I tell them, run through the sheet, and then I usually try to find the income discrepancy, because there's, half the time there is, right? There's going to be like the husband's going to make way more than the wife, and the wife just has Social Security and the husband has a little bit of a pension. And then I kind of educate them on what's going to happen when one of them dies, right? They're going to lose one or the other. They're only going to be stuck with X amount of money once that happens. And usually once they kind of think about that, it's usually pretty easy after that. They're kind of like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can see why I need this. And then with the older folk, I was doing a lot of critical periods. I don't know if you guys saw it on Slack, but I was selling a lot of whole life, and I was basically, selling a lot of payment protection, for a critical period. So I got more comfortable.
Let's break that down. Let's break that down, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. So break down how you would sell to someone over the age of 60 and it's a mortgage protection appointment. So you're selling critical period. Let's go like you're doing the quotes right now. How would you structure that for them?
Yeah. So I tell them straight up, I got this from Rob Richmond, one of his videos. And it's like, yeah, what most people do in your guys' situation, at your guys' age, covering the entire mortgage would be just as much as another mortgage payment. So I would never be able to show you that, right? So what most people do in your situation, they usually buy time. Then before I set that up, if they're seniors, I usually ask them, like, have you guys put any thought on whether or not, one of you guys passes, are you guys going to stay here in this big house? Like, Mary, would you stay at this house if Bob passed away? And like, probably not, right? Like, yeah, no, I probably will sell it and move it with one of my kids. Okay, perfect. So what most people do in your guys' situation, they usually put some protection aside. So for God forbid that day does happen, you guys have 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months to be able to figure out what you're gonna do next. Basically because one, they got to mourn over losing their significant other, and two, they need time to be able to figure out what they want to do, and then nobody wants to be forced into doing something out of losing somebody, right? They just want to be able to like choose like what's best for their family at that point in time. So that's usually how I set it up, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense, and then when you tell them, most people in your situation, they're just like, okay, cool, everybody does this, it's kind of like that setup,
Definitely. And that was something I like what you said. So one of the things that I learned when I was training a new agent last week was this guy he did not trust me at all. He was very standoffish, didn't want to sit at the table, just did not trust me at all. I finally got him to sit at the table and open up to me a little bit, didn't want to give me medication names, didn't want to do anything. And I said to him, I was like, listen, sir, I'm here to help you. And if you're not willing to, give me the information that I need to help you, then I have other families I need to see. And he was like, all right, okay, we'll give you my meds. And then when I'm going through the financial inventory, I'm educating him every step of the way. So educating them gives them, like, you're giving something to them. So they trust you more because you're educating. So I'm saying, okay, so and your wife's making 2,000. Are you aware of how Social Security survivorship works? No, I'm not sure. Okay, no worries. So how it works is whoever gets the larger of the two, and whoever is the survivor whoever has the larger of the two, and whoever passes away, the survivor gets that larger amount, but the other one falls off. So just so you're aware, Mary is going to lose $2,000 out of the budget, but she will get yours. And then, are you aware of how your pension works? Is she a survivor in your pension? Yeah, she's a survivor. Okay, so normally it's between like 50%, or if you're doing the max, about 60%. So she's gonna get 50% out of your pension. So now her income, and I'm literally writing this out. So I'm saying, this is their monthly income now. This is what it's gonna be when he passes. And them looking at those numbers, they're like, oh, wow, like we're gonna be out, $4,000 when I'm used to, like, we're living off of that right now. So educating them, they feel like, okay, now we see some urgency of why we need this because of that income gap. So I'm glad you brought that up. And then another part that you said, educating them too, is saying, like, every family in your position is going to buy their family time. Now, like you said, Mary, are you going to stay in the home? Most of the time, and I like how you said it, you were like, you're wording it in a way of leading them to the answer you want them to say. So you're saying, probably not. It's a really big home. You probably want to be here by yourself, And then she's saying, yeah, I probably would want to move out. And then they're thinking, okay, so why would we want to give the lender all this money and cover the full mortgage and pay a whole nother mortgage payment when we can just buy you some time to fix up the home, figure out your next move, grieve properly, and then sell the home and get the equity out of the home. Does that make sense, Mary? Yeah, it does. So I like how you did that. So let's kind of break down if you were to get some objections in a mortgage appointment. So let's say they say, oh, I already have life insurance. How would you overcome that?
Again, so I learned this like day number 2 because I called Gage and I was like, hey man, I'm getting this objection, right? And I think I called Jordan too. And then I was like, yeah, mostly now I switched it, right? I was getting stuck there and I was like, yeah, I was like, dude, they already have insurance. But and then now I structured it to where now it's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, no, most people I meet with already have traditional life insurance that only pays when you die, right? Is that what you have? I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Most people I meet with have that. It'd be weird if you didn't. But what this is gonna do, and then I go and then I usually I'm setting up like the living benefits, usually, and then with that life insurance, I was learning along the way too. I was allocating those funds for like the family, right? For income replacement for the family, for the kids, college funds. I was like giving that life insurance another purpose outside of the mortgage. And then I was just focusing like this was just going to protect the mortgage. That way, shit, your wife doesn't have to worry about this. So, if, God forbid, something did happen to you, you're going to have all that extra money for the kids, for the college, for her to pay for stuff, and this is just going to take care of the mortgage. So that's kind of how I
Yeah,
structure that.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
Like
learned that like
saying,
this weekend actually.
yes, exactly. Because I used to get that objection all the time, and I was like, crap, why do they need this? But then you learn as you go on, which we're trying to teach you now, so you don't have to go through it, is
Yeah.
they say you go to the financial inventory and they're like, okay, and do you have some private life insurance? Yeah, I do. I have 150,000. Okay, perfect. So, and why did you get that one? What was that one for? I always ask them right away. And what did you get that one for? Well, I just wanted to make sure that, everything is taken care of in terms of income and things, or if I pass away, my kids could go to college. Okay, perfect. I completely understand that. So we're wanting something to go directly to the mortgage. That's what we're looking for today. Oh yeah, exactly. So you're just leading them to the answer you want them to say. Why did you get that life insurance? Obviously it wasn't for the mortgage, it was for something else originally. This one's for the mortgage. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the other objections? I guess obviously like thinking about it, that's always one. How have you been overcoming that this week?
Yeah, I finally was able since I got in front of so many people, I was like learning so much this weekend. So I'll share it with you guys too. I was getting that, oh, I want to think about it. Hey guys, like I got a little stronger in the field, right? For say. So I was like, hey guys, they only pay me once. I'm here because I'm here to help you guys submit an application. Because you even though you say you want to think about it, the lender still or the carrier still need to think about it as well to see if they're going to let you participate in the programs. So without us submitting an application, we have nothing to think about. And they usually like just kind of stare at each other, and I just stared at them. It's like, would you guys like to apply or decline coverage? And then I would just ask them that. And like I think 8 out of 10 times they said, yeah, let's apply. And then they gave me the check and the driver license.
I love that.
But
you gave them an ultimatum, apply or decline.
a decline, yeah. And I wasn't doing that before, just because I got in front of so many people this weekend, I was able to like practice that, and kind of have like I guess the courage, because before I knew I needed to say that, but I never did. And this weekend I finally was able to, and then obviously it like paid off. I learned how to sell to people. Like most everybody in Seattle has already traditional life insurance. Like everybody, I think everybody I ran into had life insurance, and we're still able to like find another product that would fit their mortgage needs.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. I'm gonna open up the feed for anyone else that wants to ask you some questions. Just because I know a lot of people have been texting me about it. They're like, oh, I wanna ask him this, or how did he do this? So I'm gonna open it up. If you guys put in the chat, what are some questions you have for him? And then we'll end it here in the next 10 minutes and answer those. How many appointments, Alyssa asked? How many appointments did you have?
Fuck, I had a lot. I think we ran the list. I think in 7 days I did. Yeah, I think it was like 34 or something like that. And I did like a pretty, I learned a lot this travel trip, so like It was like right around 34, but my scheduling was so far and like I didn't calculate how far everything was. So I actually like missed a lot of appointments and I had to like reschedule them and I still didn't end up like seeing everybody, you know? Another thing too, guys, I challenge you guys. One thing I noticed from that, you know, I've done other travel trips and they're only 3 or 4 days long. This was my longest one. And it was super uncomfortable, right? I haven't been gone like from my house for that long or away from my girl or anything like that, or away from my backyard for 7 days to just work. And what happened was it was just I literally had nobody waiting for me, I guess, you know, at home where I didn't have like a time set to like go home, you know, and like I was able to go to those last appointments because I'm like, what am I gonna do? Go sit at the hotel, you know, like, you know,
Right.
what's there to do? So like I ended up just working the whole time, which was super cool, right? Like instead of going to, you know, it's super easy in your backyard to like skip your last appointment. You know, I've done that. I'm sure all you guys have done that as well. We're like, damn, it's hell late. I just want to go home. And like
Yep.
I have an hour drive, like, you know, and when I was out in Seattle, I didn't have that option. So, dude, I'm just gonna go to my last appointment. And if they kick me out, they kick me out. So I learned that
Exactly.
this weekend. It was just like, dude, like when you leave your backyard, your comfort zone, it's like you have no option but to work. Because what else are you gonna do? Sit in the hotel, be on your phone? Like it's just. So I challenge you guys, if you guys are going to take a travel trip, try taking off for a week. Get out of your bubble for a week, you know? And
Get uncomfortable.
yeah, get uncomfortable. And I was like, it really paid off. I mean, I had no idea that I wrote that much until I added it up on Wednesday. So I told Gage, I was like, dude, I think I hit like 10 grand. You know, he's like, dude, you hit way more than that. I was like, no, dude, I think it's like right around 10. I added it all up. I'm like, holy, you know. So it was like the best week.
Exactly. When you're grinding, it's like,
Moises,
Yeah.
can you talk about though your mindset too? Because there was after 72 hours where you were ready to shit in, right? And you were down a little bit down on yourself. Can you kind of, you know, let us all know?
Damn, you hella cut off. No, it was right after I talked to you. Did you kind of help me overcome that? Because I was getting that objection. Everybody had life insurance, dude. So I was like, dude, how am I gonna sell people to people when everybody has a policy? Like literally, I think 100% of the people I talked to already had a policy, which I've never ran into before, right? Up in this area, like nobody has life insurance, you know? So it was like a trip. And I think I called you and I was like, dude, I'm just like not doing too good. You know, everybody has life insurance. And you were like, you know, so add this line, you know, like you say, you know, it'd be weird if you didn't have it. You know, most people already have it, but you know, this is for the mortgage. And then I started really selling the living benefits, you know, with America. I was pushing America all day out there because
so what
at the
I
end of the
heard
day,
from
guys,
that is you asked, you called and asked. You didn't just give up and say, oh, I'm going home. You called and said, what can I do?
yeah. And that was huge, Jordan. So thank you for that. I forgot to tell you.
All right, we got a couple more questions and we'll end it here. Serena said, what is the biggest pointer you'd give to a brand new agent?
Get out of your comfort zone. Like it's weird, you know, like doing travel trips is like trippy, but they get easier. Now that was my third one, I was like, that was super breezy, you know, and it was the longest one I've had, you know, and basically get away from your backyard. I know it's comfortable. I mean, trust me, I know I don't really ever leave, but it's like you need to like explore other options. Now that like I've hit 18 grand, now I feel confident that I can do that in my backyard. Whereas before, I'm like, I was barely doing 7, 8 grand in a week. You know, that was like my big week. And now I'm like, dude, I'm confident I can do 15, 18 grand in my backyard now because I did it once already somewhere else. So
Love
my
it.
biggest like tip, you know, just kind of get uncomfortable. Go do a travel trip. Go somewhere where you're not, you know, you don't know anybody. It'll force you to work.
Love it. Anna said, how many dial days did you do?
So Thursday before I left, some on Sunday, and then Monday morning until about 3 because I had my first appointment like around 4. And then I just everything else was just reschedules because I kept like missing appointments. There was 2 counties, you know, that I kind of screwed up on. So
For sure. And then were you dialing in between appointments, after appointments,
so
anytime you get?
appointments that I had missed too, that like already had missed, I didn't like follow up with them. I would just show up and pretend like I had that appointment that day. But hey, I'm here for that appointment. I was supposed to be there yesterday, but I missed it. So I was doing that, and that was working out pretty good. Because
I
they
do
were
that
kind of
too. I love
too.
that.
They were like, yeah, they kind of forgot too. They're like, oh yeah, yeah, what's up? And then they'd let me in, you know, or
I don't really understand, Michael. I don't really understand your question. You put dial days 7 till app goals met. Dial day 7 till app goes max. So I'm sorry, I don't understand yours, but we'll go to Alyssa's. What is the biggest obstacle that you've overcome in 90 days that you maybe didn't think was possible at first?
I mean, I guess is this one, dude, like just writing that much. Cause I was like, now that I think about it, like that was the most I've written. And I didn't really feel like it was like crazy hectic. You know, it was actually fun. It went by super quick. And I didn't think I'd write like 18 grand, like in Seattle, you know, because my first couple of days I was kind of crapped out. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, dude, everybody has life insurance. So like I had to reach out and figure out, hey, dude, I'm getting into subjection. Everybody's got life insurance. I'm getting stuck. And I guess like the biggest hurdle in 90 days is reaching up for help.
Yep,
You know?
that's something I've known from you, Sprout, Tanner, Marcus, a lot of you guys that are doing really well as brand new agents, they call in every single home. And after they call, Gage, me, Jordan, they call and ask, this is what happened, you know, what would you have said? So instead of you just leaving an appointment feeling like, dang, I suck, I failed, they say, what could I do? What could I learn from that appointment? Like think of every appointment as a learning process, especially in your first 90 days. So just make sure you're reaching out, and you guys were super good about that. That's definitely led to your success. I know that for sure. Okay. Dave asked, what would you do for a couple ages 59 and 66 who already have 250K whole life? An additional fraternal.
All right. Well, this isn't an underwriting chat, so you can call me directly. But
yeah, we'll talk about that one later. Sorry, Dave. Last one.
So I just want to chime in really quick here, guys, that the people who are the most resourceful, the people who seek the knowledge. So when Michaela's talking about when people call her after they don't get a sale, that's seeking the knowledge. That's realizing and being humble enough that I messed up, I did something wrong. What could I have done better? The people who are the most resourceful here, knowledge by utilizing Slack's in-home help channel, by utilizing the Facebook group. There's so much information out there. You just need to go find it. And the people who are the best students are the most successful here. The ones who don't think they know it all, and they keep that student hat on for as long as possible. I still got the student cap on. Like, I know how to sell life insurance. I don't know how to recruit to $1 million agency. So I got my student cap on. Like, I'm humble enough to know that I still got things to learn, no matter how long you've been in this business. So I just wanted to chime in on that, because I think the people who are the most resourceful and use the resources like fflamerica.com to find the information, self-educate, which in turn self-empowers yourself. And then if you don't know the answer, then that's a course when you need to reach out and kind of find that answer as well. So I just wanted to throw my two.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gage. Because like, for example, if you were in school and you didn't know an answer to a math question, would you, if you went and asked the teacher, hey, I don't know this answer, the teacher just gave you the answer, would you learn from that? Or would you learn from the teacher breaking down, or the teacher saying, hey, here's an example, you know, break it down and figure it out? That's how it is when you're constantly asking your upline or your manager questions without going and looking for it. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to forget it in the next second because you just easily got that answer. But if you go and look and educate yourself, you're going to remember that the next time. So it's only hurting yourself if you're not actually using the resources and learning on your own, and only just, you know, relying on someone else to answer it for you. Okay, this will be the last question.
I want to piggyback on what Gage and Michaela said, because it doesn't just happen in home either. You know, and I'm going to use an example. I'm not going to say any names, but I had somebody that was making phone calls this week and waited. Actually, they didn't even call me. 13 no's or clicks on the phone. And I reached out to them to see how phone setting was going. And they literally said, I keep getting this. And I'm like, dude, like, I call it the 3 strikes rule. If you are making phone calls and you get 3 people that answer and don't set, call somebody that knows what they're doing. And I don't mean like that in a bad way. I mean, that's your money. Like, you don't have money to piss away. So like, I can tell you, I get mad when I get beat up, and I will reach out to Gage and say, dude, I just walked out of this house and I'm steaming mad. And I'll say, bro, this is what happened. And he'll be like, yeah, you should have did this, this, and this. So you're always going to learn, but don't sit there and fail and don't do anything, because that's the worst thing you can do, is to continue to go down the path of failure without getting any coaching. So, you know, call it a lifeline, call it whatever you want. Dude, I've seen people spend $700 on leads and not make one contact to anybody outside of those phones and not do well. But you know what? After 12 phone calls, I told him to change the script real quick. He set appointments and we sold insurance. Just like that. But if he would have did it 4 into it, different results. So that's your money, it's your resources. There's people on this call that get paid to take care of you. I don't care if it's Jordan, I don't care if it's Billy, it could be Moises, it doesn't matter. There's people that care, not because they get paid, but they care about you genuinely, because we are winners, all of us. And if you're not a winner, that's cool, because you won't be here in 30 days. But the winners stick together, dude, and we want other people to win. So don't hesitate to pick the damn phone up and call somebody if you're struggling. We've all been there. I promise you. That's all. Sorry, Billy went on his little
Love
rant.
it. Love
Fact. Fact.
Well,
Another
great.
thing, can I piggyback off what Billy said? Because I was having a talk with Gage, and you know, I've only been here for 90 days, right? So I only know 90 days back, right? But I was talking to Gage, and I was like, hey man, like there's a couple of things that were kind of missing in the group that we had like 90 days ago, right? And it was the morale of the whole group. Like we used to be so like each other's fans, and we were so like involved in each other's like Instagrams, the Slack group, you know. And I was telling Gage, that's such an easy fix for us. We need to go back to that, like to be able to share each other's successes on Instagram. Like, you know, even if you're not running that day and it's a run day, like take 5 minutes, go find everybody that's Enhanced Foundation on Billy's team and just go gas them up, you know, like especially the new people that are coming on board. Like I remember when I was brand new and all you guys were gassing me up when I was doing popping sales, and I was like, yeah, you know, I was in the back, like just super pumped. You know, I just popped a $2,000 deal, like $1,500, and everybody's commenting on my Slack, and I'm just like feeling super good. It's like, I kind of feel like we kind of lost that a little bit, you know? So like, I really want to challenge you guys to kind of make that little extra effort and go back to that old camaraderie we had 90 days ago, right?
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking
appreciate
like
you mentioning.
Instagram, like Slack, like being each other's number one supporters. I see it on Nina's team, you know, obviously it's working really well for them. They're freaking exploding. So we got to just kind of replicate what other people are doing. And that's what they're doing over there. They're you know, hyping each other up. They're resharing each other's stories. And, you know, obviously it's super working for them. So I think we should definitely piggyback on that.
And that's something you can do too when you're posting. Like I challenge everyone to post on their social media a picture of them and the client, and then tag, you know, the people that you talk to or whatever. You can tag a couple people and then they can tag a couple people, but tag people so they can share it on their story too. Or like Moises said, you can just screenshot it, post it on yours. But we definitely need to start sharing other people's success. That's something I've lacked into. Like I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna post my stuff. It's like, no, post the other people, because there might be someone on your feed that doesn't relate to you, but then relates to Moises, that relates to Jordan, and relates to Cam. There's other people they might relate to. So you need to post other people, not just yourself.
Hey guys, can I make a quick comment real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So 2 weeks ago, I had my biggest week, and I went down and I ran with Moises, and I don't think it's a coincidence that, you know, I wrote almost 13,000 my biggest week. I don't believe that's a coincidence. I believe that Moises has a crazy work ethic, and it's contagious. And just for all the people who are kind of brand new, like myself, just get around the winners, crush the phones. You know, there's power in doing something over and over and over again, repetition. But yeah, dude, Moises, appreciate that. You know, a couple of weeks ago, man, looking out. You as well, V. You guys are awesome. I just wanted to add that.
Appreciate that.
And it's just one of those things here, guys, that like, of course we're independent contractors, we're independent individuals, but like, I love being a part of a team. Like, I love being a part of Legacy Protectors. I'm a big fan of repping Legacy Protectors, FFL America. Like, I take pride in being a part of a group. I don't like being alone. I don't like individual accolades. Like, I get more excited when I see you guys in Slack than when I post in Slack, even if it's a 5, 6, doesn't matter the size of the deal. Yeah, it's great and all, but I love to see the people who I'm surrounded with win. I love to love on the people who are busting their ass and trying their hardest. And to touch on Moises's point, it's like, look, if you're not out running appointments, cool. We're not mad at you, but at least engage with the people who are putting in the work. We're all on our phones every hour of the day. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
We're all on our phones.
Sneak in for an
It takes-
hour. Just
it
sneak in
takes
for an
3
hour.
minutes. Yeah, and it's like, just love on people. If you're not going to go out and work in the field, love on your teammates who decided to go to work. Just because you didn't go to work doesn't mean that you have to be silent and be like this, oh, I hope they don't notice I didn't work. It's like, we don't care. Do what you want. You're independent, but just love on each other. I love majority of all you guys that I know. I know there's people I don't know on here, but I'm gonna want to see all you guys win. And that team aspect, I love. I got that back. Like, at work, you don't ever feel like you're really a part of a team. You're like, you're forced to be on this team, right? Like, this is like a family, and that's what this is all about. Family first life, the group that you're a part of. And we're blessed. We're on the best team. And what I mean by that is we're on Andrew Taylor's team, we're on Grady Paulson's team, and we're on Jordan Lowry's team. We're on the best team. And so we got to represent being the best team and being on the best team. So I can't stress that enough. Like, there's so many people that don't get the love that they deserve for busting their ass because you're scared that you didn't work, and you don't want anyone to know that you didn't work. It's okay. We don't care. As long as your bank account's okay, we don't care what you do. But I think it's just really important that we gel more together. I keep saying this, the sooner we lock arms together and work as a unit, the stronger this thing goes and the faster forward it goes as well. And the longer we kind of just keep doing our own thing and die a lonely life here, because it very much can happen, it's dangerous. Like, don't set yourself up for failure. Just be around the fire. Don't freeze to death over there by yourself. We're all here to see each other win. We're all supportive. This is a no judgment zone. It's kind of weird because everyone actually wants to see you win. So I just wanted to touch on that.
It is. You got me loud and clear, Gage?
Yep, I got you, man.
Okay. So you guys got to understand, and I love everyone on here and to a fault sometimes, but here's the deal. In about a year or 2 years, you're going to say you're either going to be in business with us or not. But I can tell you this. This is the easiest place, hands down, to make 200 grand a year. Okay. If you don't make 200 grand a year here, like I'm saying, like, Moises, you've been here 90 days, you said? If I was to ask you how much you think you'll deposit this month, how much would you deposit this month? Just ballpark. Doesn't have to be like within, but ballpark.
Like 20, 25.
$20,000 to $25,000. Okay. And you haven't even been here for 1 quarter in business. Okay. See, what you guys have to understand, that to make $200,000 a year here, it's $16,000 a month. Okay. There is not an easier place in American business. Okay. Like, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. I just drove, I am serious. If you can't make $20,000 a month here, then you should go get a job.
you should go get a job, and that's okay. But if you can't make $200,000 a year here, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're fucked in entrepreneurship. You will never see a system so easy to get leads, people that will tell you what to say and how to say it, and then help you do it. Like, it's crazy to me. So, you know, we have to turn it to a whole nother level. Okay. Everyone needs to be tagging just 7 to 10 people. If you haven't hired 7 to 10 people, then you need to sell 10K a week. But your job is to only move forward 7 to 10 people. That's it. You can only do 5. Like 5 is, it's it. And then next week, Moises, or next week, Cassie, or next week, anybody on here, those 10 better not be the same 10. You better get rid of 2 or 3, and 2 or 3 better figure it out themselves. Now you got 6. Now you got room for 4 more. But if you're talking to the same 10 people today and the same 10 people on August 15th, don't ask me for help. Do not ask me for help, okay? But if you're getting up early, if you're staying up late, if you're making, like, just go make 200 grand a year. Just go do it, okay? That's all I ask of you guys. I spent more money than I'd ever spent to move my family across country from California to Florida. I spent more money than I thought was even possible to spend. And I can tell you within 2 days of driving, I made double of what I spent off residual passive income. 2 days. And I've been doing this for, and guys, you know me. I am a wreck in so many things. I couldn't get a job before this. So if I can do it, you can do it. But don't sleep on 250 grand a year. Don't sleep on 20. Moises, does it feel good to make more money, like to make that kind of money?
Feels great.
And you've only been here 90 days. What if I told you that that's the least amount you'll ever make in a month?
It's pretty awesome.
It's true though. If
Yeah.
you decide to scale it and you decide to build it, you can make it to where you spend 30, make 120. So I'll let you guys get back to your call. Moises, dude, I appreciate you sharing with us, you know, your call. And here's the deal. Do not reach out to people who submit or issue pay, not what you wanted to submit or issue pay. So even if they're your friend, you do not call them for advice. So if I look at that leaderboard today, I'm only calling Gage, Moises, I think Jared Lindsay. That's all I'm calling. The other 2 people who you guys are calling, sorry, they can't be on this team. Not this week. That's okay. So that's okay. You can't call me. Like like I don't sell, but I can teach you how to build. So if any of the 40 of you on here, if you want to call me at 5 a.m. or you want to call me at midnight, my number is 469-831-9578. I will always call you back, but we got to work harder. Okay. It was only 7 days ago that Sean was on our call. It was only 7 days ago that Sean Mike was on our call. The fact that we didn't submit 300,000 this week is a mistake by us. Because there's 40 people on here, and if we all would have done 8 grand, that's 300 grand this week, just with the 38 of us on here. So Sean Mike was on our call less than 7 days ago, and we you know, so we have to take this to the next level. So please call me if you're brand new. Justin, if you're brand new, call me. You know, freaking Karina, anybody, everybody. Just if you don't know what to say in the home, call me. I'll freaking close them for you. Okay. Call me. If you don't submit 10K or you don't put 10 people into contracting or you talk to 10 people in a row and you don't book 2 or 3 appointments, what are you going to do? You're going to freaking call me. Okay. And then you're going to call Gage or Sprout or Moises. And then you're going to find 1 or 2 people on Legacy Protectors that you like. It might be Caitlin Blackburn. It might be Nina. It might be Hayden. It might be Alex Strait. It might be Genevieve. It might be Trevor. But you do not, listen to me, you do not talk to them if they don't have the result you want this week. Not 3 months ago, not 4 months ago, not 5 months ago, not they're a good person. Did they do it the last 30, 60 days? That's all we care about. And that's all Sean cares about. And I would, you know, I mean, Gage knows I'd put my whole bank account on the line. I would do it. I'll do it again. I won't stop doing it. I will never stop. You guys have my commitment to that. Okay. So, it's late, you know, it's not probably late where you guys, it's 10:30 here, but it's still early. So we don't get tired on this team. Love you guys.
Thank you, Jordan.
And, let me know if you need anything at all.
Appreciate
Okay?
it, bro.
Later,
Thanks for
guys.
hopping on,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Have a good night. Thank you, Moises.
Okay, thank you guys for having me on.